Hello everyone, my name is Mystic. Today's episode of Dragon Ball Jump will be extremely interesting and introduce ideas unlike you've ever seen before. I hope you guys enjoyed the direction of the story so far. So, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Where we left off, the group had taken massive losses at the hands of the Saiyans. Vegeta had escaped, but Yamcha had an idea. To head to Namek. Bulma and the group decide to go with Yamcha's idea. While Bulma begins to learn the Namekian language with Pope Rule, Gohan, Boruto, Yamcha, and Tien begin to train together to gain even more strength. Tien curses his weakness in the battle, being unable to do anything other than to stall Vegeta briefly. The kids are saddened by their inability to do anything in the battle, despite their training, and hope to help their fathers. They hope to rectify this by helping to revive their fallen friends with the Dragon Balls on Namek. Meanwhile, in Otherworld, King Kai has taken a special interest in the fallen Z-Fighters. Krillin begins to learn Sage Mode from Jiraiya. He's gaining a better aptitude for it post-mortem, but still needs to learn a lot of guidance from Jiraiya. Suno begins to train with King Kai, not only to learn his techniques, but to generally toughen herself up so she can be comparable with other warriors around her. She does a lot of joint training exercising with Krillin at times, and learns some ninjutsu from Jiraiya to be closer to her husband. Piccolo, however, is off in Otherworld, confronting his father, King Piccolo, about the nature of the demon within Naruto's soul. King Piccolo, although the Demon King on Earth, isn't very knowledgeable about Demon Realm activities, so he knows very little about it. But, from being dead for so long and interacting with the Oni and demons housed in Hell, he's learned just one thing about him. Their name. Kurama. Meanwhile, Chaozu and Chi-Chi, I guess you could call them the Chi Gang, are off on their own training in various places in Otherworld. Chi-Chi has decided to train with her master Anin once more, and is learning to fight in a style more suited to her motherly passions. In this, she's introduced to more people who can help her fight. In Otherworld, there's an order of people who fight monsters who are either from Otherworld, or escape into the mortal realm from Otherworld. These are Shinigami, otherwise known as the Soul Society, warriors of death who work directly under King Yama. Chi-Chi begins a training regimen with them, earning her own Zanpakuto and using her innate technique to come up with her own fighting style. Training her is the captain of the Shinigami, Captain Yamamoto, who just so happens to be Anin's husband, as well as a distant ancestor of hers, who's extremely knowledgeable in the ways of the blade, the former leader of the Band of the Falcon, Casca Yuma. Chi-Chi learns swordplay from her and becomes a far better warrior. Elsewhere, Chaozu is journeying through Otherworld and searching for psychics like himself. In this journey, he finds many people who help him increase his strength in his psychokinesis, which helps Chaozu realize something about the nature of ki and energy within the universe. As his strength increases, he begins to see that the usual laws of reality begin to no longer apply. Even the strict rules of ki are somewhat ignored. He also learns about something within his own soul, and the soul of everybody else. Psychokinetics is inherently linked to the soul within this universe, and so Chaozu has greater insight to what is going on. Training with some Metamorans, he's also able to learn that each soul has its own shape. Basically, for everybody else, each soul is unique within this world, and when you're reincarnated, your soul's shape is changed so that you're a different person entirely. Chaozu learning this has some implications for later, but for now, all that you really need to know is this dictates the type of ki expression someone is able to do. He takes note of all of this and continues his training. Meanwhile, in space, the Z-Fighters reach Namek, with a group consisting of Boruto, Gohan, Bulma, Tien, and Yamcha. Team Jump, the group of Naruto, Luffy and Goku, are resting on Earth due to their various injuries. Not a lot changes about early Namek until the group first encounters Frieza. Boruto is disgusted by Frieza's heinous actions and the power he wields over the Namekians. He can't help but save them, which catches Frieza's attention. Boruto commends Frieza for his immense power and admires him for being so strong, wishing he had that power for himself. However, he tells him that he can't allow him to hurt anyone else. Frieza is dismissive of this boy, and simply sends Dodoria to deal with the threats while flying back to his ship with Zarbon. In this encounter, where they're chased by Dodoria, Tien decides to stall for a bit, giving the other Z fighters a chance for him to escape. However, Gohan stays with Tien to attempt to help him. Both the younger boys are saddled with feelings of inadequacy and powerlessness due to their experiences with Raditz and the Saiyans on Earth. Boruto is expressing this as a sort of awe towards any figure who holds great power, although still holding on to his ideas, of course. However, Gohan only wants to use his own minuscule power to help defeat enemies much stronger than himself. Tien and Gohan engage with Dodoria, with the warrior proving to be a very big challenge for the two. Gohan helps with his quick speed and small stature, making him hard to hit, while Tien deals the most of the heavy blows to Dodoria. However, Dodoria's power is proving to be troublesome. Gohan and Tien are on the back foot, and Boruto nearly jumps in to assist, putting himself in danger. But Dodoria shoots a ki towards the young man. Yamcha grabs him and rushes back to the ship, placing his trust in Tien. Gohan and Tien continue to fight Dodoria, but they aren't doing much better than before, with the beast grabbing onto Gohan with a single hand. Gohan's enraged, and his power rises, but this isn't enough. Dodoria starts to crush the Saiyan in his hands, but soon, Dodoria feels something slap across his face. Gohan's tail has returned, and now, he's pissed. Gohan's rage increases his power to a legendary degree, and he accesses a power he'd never had before, Ikari. With Tien's insane skill, Gohan's Ikari transformation, and Dodoria having only one working arm, the fight from then on is quick work. Dodoria is beaten to a pulp, and left to Vegeta, who kills him soon after the group leaves. Frieza takes note of this, and is exasperated. He realizes that this little group is pretty strong to deal with one of his stronger soldiers. So he contacts his father's most trusted collaborators. In a Namekian village, miles upon miles away, a lord sits bored as his subordinates deal with the village. He gets a transmission and smiles. Finally, some interesting work. After Vegeta deals with Dodoria, he goes through his normal routine of destroying the Namekian village to get a Dragon Ball. But soon after, he senses an overwhelming presence. He shivers in fear as it passes him by, not noticing him. Vegeta collects his Dragon Ball and sighs, noting how fearsome that combatant must be. Gohan, Boruto, Tien, and Yamcha all notice the power approaching as well, and quickly attempt to hide the ki. But it's too late. Lord Boros and his soldiers arrive at the group's hideout, and Boros greets the intruders with a smile. The group is immediately on guard, but Boros simply walks towards them, inquiring as to where they hid their Dragon Balls. Yamcha and Tien are specifically more on guard than the boys, and Boros notices the 4-star ball nearby. His smile fades into a grimace as he states that he'll be taking that ball. Yamcha steps forward and reveals his Sage Mode, growling that the evil soldier will never get the chance to touch the Dragon Ball. The Wolf Sage will stop him! Boros scowls, lifting his hand and flicking his finger on Yamcha's forehead, knocking him into the wall and leaving a huge crater. That's Lord to you. Boruto rushes in to attack Boros for hurting Yamcha, but Gary Emgenshu telepathically stops the Child Shinobi, while Melzagard lands a heavy blow on Boruto. The kid gets back up, and Tien jumps into his own Sage Mode. Gohan attempts to access Hikari, but his body isn't responding to himself. Melzigard jumps at Boruto, grabbing him and pulling him into a one-on-one fight, while Tien is occupied with Geryuganshu. Boros is left off with Yamcha and Gohan, who both aren't providing much of a challenge for him. However, Boros sees a lot of potential within the two, and begins to toy with them. He sees a fire in their eyes like no other, and he wants to set it off. Meanwhile, Vegeta is going through the same motions as before, gathering a Dragon Ball, getting mocked by Zarbon, captured, stealing the Dragon Balls from Frieza, escaping, and killing Monster Zarbon himself. He senses the battle at the group's ship, and realizes that they may have one of the final Dragon Balls. Vegeta sighs and leaves to find the other Dragon Ball. Sage Tien manages to defeat Geryuganshu with some ease, saying that some half-rate psionic isn't going to compare to his best buddy, who he'd lived with and trained with for his entire life. Your power is nothing in comparison to Chaozu's. Boruto, meanwhile, manages to use his Vanishing Rasengan, a technique he had developed soon after the Battle of Earth, and to trick Melzigard into revealing their regeneration cores, destroying them. As they're pulverized, Boruto quickly turns his attention to Boros, jumping in with Tien and the others in an attempt to overwhelm the Lord. However, Boros charges all his energy into his center, with sparks of electricity cracking off his being. Boros shoots off a huge ki blast, with the group forming a ki shield to protect their ship. Boros mocks the group, explaining that their power is a drop in the bucket in the face of not only his own sealed power, but Frieza's real power. He continues to mock their weakness as he slowly reveals his true strength, cracking his armor in places. But the final straw is when he insults something else, something far more precious. With your pitiful strength, how could you protect anyone close to you? This ship is as good as destroyed. Your masters must have failed you. Gohan's rage multiplied incredibly as he screamed in anger. No one would insult his masters. No one would insult their teachings. No one would insult his friends. Goku, Piccolo, both died for his sake, and he wouldn't allow their names to be sullied like this. He tapped back into that power he used against Dodoria, the Ikari transformation. Gohan's power increased the integrity of the barrier, which boomed out and overwhelmed the beam by Boros, crashing against him. As Boros got back up, his armor shattered. His eyes widened as he was hit by a wave of his immense pain. His release state in this canon is immensely painful, as he can barely control his own ki initially. If he were attacked like this, just like being attacked while transforming, he would possibly be able to be killed instantly. He scowls and screams, rushing away as fast as he can. He vows to destroy the group, to destroy Gohan and Boruto, and the rest of those damned martial artists. But, secretly, he's enjoyed the battle. He enjoyed being pushed to his very limits. He enjoyed having fun in a battle for the first time in decades. It was tiring being the strongest. For once, he got pushed. I remember their names, and his values are shifting. Vegeta arrives at Guru's palace, and soon after, the Z-Fighters arrive as well. Nell confronts the group of strangers, sensing malicious energy within Vegeta and immediately mistrusting them. Vegeta gears himself off to attack the group and steal the Dragon Ball Sword himself. However, everyone senses 5 distant malicious key signatures, freezing everyone in place. Vegeta is shocked and still in fear, knowing who this is, who they've summoned. Goku, Luffy, and Naruto, meanwhile, are finally healed, ready to jump into action and save everyone on Namek. They enter their ship, built recently by Dr. Briefs, and begin training as the stars move past them at incredible speeds. They're heading to Namek alongside another force, one of incredible power, the Ginyu Force. I think this is a good place to leave off for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sure did. please be sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. I've been using my second channel for videos like stuff I want to post, like interesting power scaling discussions on series that I wouldn't be able to discuss on this Dragon Ball centric channel, and other anime versus battles that I think you guys would find interesting. Though, be warned, they are more narrative focused than more on power scaling, because, you know, I'm not really too big into power scaling in general, even though I will plan to make more content on what I find interesting. So yeah, stay tuned for that. If you want to support my content, be sure to join my Discord server, where you can post art that may be featured at the Apologies for the interruption. Future Mocha here. I wanted to clarify a few things since this outro was created like months ago and is heavily outdated. Also, I'm sick, so sorry if I sound off. Firstly, sorry for the lack of uploads. I've been pretty busy both creatively and personally since August. I'll be sure to upload more on both this and my second channel. Also, apologies for the audio issues in this one. I have no idea what the clicking sound was, and I couldn't edit it out without sacrificing my voice. And I also wanted to apologize if this video was a bit confusing time-wise. Things will be cleared up in the next episode, so be sure to look out for that. Also, the Discord server has been closed since there hasn't really been any activity there for a while. It didn't feel necessary to keep open. Leave comments down below for suggestions of other what-ifs. Also, I wanted to thank you all for 800 subscribers. It really means a lot to me. We're 200 away from my goal. Let's keep it up, y'all. Anywho, that's enough of that for now. Thank y'all for watching. Bye-bye.